Imposter syndrome is the experience of debilitating doubt of skill and talent, despite evidence of success. While a common symptom of high achievers and perfectionists, imposter syndrome is frequently the consequence of discrimination, bias, stereotypes, racism, and elitism. Imposters dwell in a persistent fear of being exposed as incompetent or inadequate, a fear that triggers self-doubt, anxiety, burnout, stalled growth, externalization of success, and avoidance. To disrupt this phenomenon for our students, we are asking graduates to share stories from college and career to normalize the experience. This is one of our conversations. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're here with Paulina, class of, when did you graduate? What year?
2016.
2016, Lincoln High School graduate, class of 2016. Welcome to Imposter. So tell us a little bit about where you grew up, living in the community, how you got to Lincoln.
So I grew up in San Diego, but I was born in Tijuana, and I was brought here when I was 5. So I've been here, so I've been in San Diego since I was 5. I kind of grew up all over San Diego, to be honest. I was in Spring Valley, El Cajon City, and then Southeast San Diego, and then National City. So I'm pretty familiar with San Diego. I was also in San Marcos. So because
Go ahead.
my parents separated when I was around 7.
Okay.
I was never in one space.
Right.
But
were you bouncing around between mom and dad, or were you bouncing around relatives, or just always moving with mom? What was the situation like?
Yeah, it was around relatives. I lived with my aunt for a few years, and then my grandma, and then I moved with my mom. So there was a lot of back and forth. And then I ended up with my dad. So there was never really stability around.
Got you. Yeah.
My childhood. But eventually, when it was time to decide what high school I was going to go to, I really wanted to go to a good school because I have always loved school and learning and being surrounded by people that are really smart. I really wanted to go to a good school, right? And me and my mom were having a conversation about me going to, I think it's is it UC high school? What is it? University City? I think
University
that's
City,
that's
UCI,
what that's what they call it, right? UC, whatever. So I had a lot of friends that were there, and my mom was like, "Oh, let's try to get you to that school."
Okay.
And
But you were living in Southeast area?
Yeah,
at the time?
I was living in the Southeast area with her, and we were gonna use someone else's address and then just have me commute there.
Sneak.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think what it was is there was a school bus that would pick you up.
Mm-hmm.
And then
there's a lot of students from this neighborhood get bussed out to campuses throughout San Diego.
Yeah, so that's what we were trying to do. But then it was too late for us to register. So
you went to Lincoln by default?
Yeah.
Not what I wanted to hear, but reality, I'll take that one. Okay.
So I ended up at Lincoln because it was a school that was the closest to my home, and I was like, okay, fine, we're gonna try next year.
Okay. Did you?
No.
Okay. So let's talk about why you didn't try next year.
Because I fell in love with my teachers.
Okay, cool. Now we're getting somewhere I'm comfortable with. Good.
I fell in love with all my teachers, honestly. I remember having an amazing math teacher, and she taught geometry. I don't remember her name. This is so bad. I know because I just said she's my favorite. Miss Mahogany or something like that. But she was only here for a year or two and then left.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we can talk about, that's a whole different podcast by itself.
Did I say her name right? You know who I'm talking about?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay. But
I was going to say Miss Lou.
No.
But okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Just because I know Miss Lou's been here for a long time. I don't remember back in 2016. Actually, it would be 2012.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So I fell in love with my teachers, and I told them I'm not leaving Lincoln. Like, I'm happy here.
Nice.
And you were one of them too.
Your freshman year?
Yeah? Wasn't it? Yeah, I think so.
I'm getting kind of old. Memory's kind of fading a little bit. But yeah, I definitely remember
Yeah.
having you multiple years
I think there was
in
only
English.
1 year I wasn't with you, but I still would make my way to your class on my free period. But it was my
Yeah,
last
that's true.
year.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Cool.
So,
So you
and then
go ahead.
Mr. Campos, shout out to Mr. Campos.
Shout out Campos.
So I fell in love, and then I stayed here because I love my teachers. And yeah, that's how I ended up here.
Cool. I know that when you were here, you took full advantage of the entire like high school experience. You were an athlete. You were involved in cheer. You've started your own club. You were taking advantage of some of the rigorous classes we have here, the AP classes and stuff like that. Tell me about your experience in Lincoln classroom or Lincoln culture in general. What was it like for you in high school here? Beyond the teachers in the classroom per se.
Well, there was a lot of opportunity, and I noticed that the first year where everyone seemed friendly and I felt welcomed here, so it was easy for me to become involved. And I know, like, as I started to kind of really think about like my future and what I wanted to do, it was like there was all these requirements, and I like the school had them. Like I had the opportunities to.
So let me sort of just to clarify.
Yeah.
You're saying that to achieve the goal you wanted to achieve, Lincoln had the programs in place that would allow you to do that.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What were some of the things you're talking about? Was it just
So I was like, I like had a dance class, and Mr. Robinson was like super cool.
shout out Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
old school theater tech. Last time we used the theater here on Lincoln campus. Go for it.
And that was so fun. I remember like he did a whole dance show, and like I was always into performing arts. So that was like the first moment that I'm like, this is super cool. And then after that, I remember him like saying there was going to be cheer tryouts. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to be doing these activities to get into schools, like I think I should try cheer, because I didn't really consider myself that athletic at that point. So I was like, okay, I'll just like give it a try. But that's kind of how I got introduced to cheer. And then as I like continued to just like, you know, be here, I feel like one thing led me to another, because then I did cheer and I saw everyone running track, and I was like, I think I should run track. And
That's what it sounds like. Right? You got into the performing arts, and then that led to cheer, and the cheer led. Yeah.
Yeah, because then I did.
Kind of weird. That I mean, everything fell into place for you here.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And I wanted to challenge myself running track, and I ran track for like 2 years. And then academically, like I mean, because my teachers were so great, you guys like were great mentors too. It felt like I can ask you guys any questions, and you'd like openly share your experience. And like I was really grateful for that, because I knew like if you guys did it, like I can do it too.
I mean, that's kind of the point of this podcast, right?
Yeah.
I want people listening to have the same sort of, you know, epiphany. Here's all these people from Lincoln who have done it. We can do it too, kind of mentality.
Yeah, so it was really cool to have you guys, because I mean, my parents didn't go to school, so I think the experience was very limited. Like my background and like my role models were very, I want to say limited. So having you guys really helped like realize it is a possibility, and also how I can make it a possibility. I think that was one of the biggest things too, because I didn't know, like I was betting my life into something that I didn't really know that could happen.
So you're a first generation college student. Yeah.
Yes.
And what was that process like for you? The application process, financial aid process, deciding on the school?
I'm trying to think. Like I think there's a lot of ongoing parts, but because I was very I had already decided I really wanted to go to college, like my very first year. I would, you know, make sure I had good grades, like do all these things, like we said, like all these requirements, right?
Right.
But also use my resources around me. So asking, you know, like you guys, and asking
Were you involved in like an Avid class, or did you
I
do
was in an
Wahoopa,
Avid
those kinds of
class as
things?
well. Yeah.
Did you get any information regarding the college application process and all that stuff through those
Absolutely.
classes?
Yeah. Yeah. Avid was a
Okay.
big one. Like my AP classes also were really huge. Like
Just through talk? Okay.
conversation. Yeah. My peers. I think I don't remember. There was a lot of other things that I feel like I did too. Like there was this program that I had applied to, and I think we had a few field trips before that was like very college oriented too.
Like Upward Bound or Wahoopa or something like that?
Yeah, I was always around them too.
Okay.
I don't
We also
know.
had Aaron
I
Price.
think what it was, yes, Aaron Price, that was another one. I think what it was with Wahoopas, like because I didn't have papers, like documents, I couldn't be part of it, but I was still like around them, and they'd like still give me like
What was that process like, being undocumented, but going through the whole process of applying and getting accepted to colleges? How did you do it?
well, actually, I was fully undocumented until I was 17, which was like my junior year.
Okay.
And at my junior year, I had applied for DACA
Uh-huh.
and I got it. So it was like the perfect timing for me to get DACA and then also apply to schools. Like that in some ways has been a security for me because, I was able to get a lot of financial assistance through
Yeah.
that.
See, for me, it's good to hear because that's why we have programs like this, right? Is to assist students like you to give you the opportunities that everyone else is taking advantage of, right? And
Yes.
you're a success story of the program. You
Right,
know what I
because
mean?
it was extremely helpful
Yeah.
and I feel like those programs like open up doors for information that I didn't even know, and I kind of guided myself through them.
Well, I mean, see, that's kind of the point of this podcast as well. Is like a lot of students coming from Lincoln High School. There's not a huge sort of pipeline to higher education for people of color, from people from this community. So to recognize, to hear a story of someone who's taken advantage of the programs that are in place, right? It hopefully will normalize that experience. They'll see it as a possibility.
Yeah, because
Does
it
that make sense?
is,
Yeah.
absolutely. And like doing the fashion club was also so fun. Like I think I've always really been passionate about things, and this club was like, oh, I was first introduced to the idea of a fashion club because of FITM. Like I started to kind of dive myself into like the creative world and what that was going to be for me. And
FITM is the Fashion Institute for Design and Merchandising. That's
yes,
that like private.
it's a
Yeah.
private,
Okay.
yeah, a design school.
Right. Right.
And they have different campuses. There's one in San Diego, and
Were
they
you
have,
were you considering that an option after high school?
yes,
Okay.
I was. And I was looking at their programs and like their pricing.
Oh, that's what it is.
That wasn't the
Okay.
best because
Okay, so I don't mean to interrupt the story. I actually want to
Right.
include to the story, but one thing I remember about you in high school was there was and please take this as the compliment it's intended to be. There was a quirkiness about you in terms of your fashion, right? Like I
Yes.
remember there would be like dresses and outfits, and then I mean I wore my docs today in honor of you because
Oh,
remember
I
those
love
purple
that.
docs?
Yes.
I remember those purple
I
docs.
still
those
have
things.
them.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what I'm talking about. And for me, it was like that was a sign of someone who is not just like interested, but is passionate about an area. For you, it was fashion. It
Yes.
made sense to me that you would go into fashion. So explain where that came from for you, that passion for design.
Yeah. I don't have like a very clear instance where I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing. But when I started thinking about what I wanted to for the rest of my life, I put together a bunch of moments that made me really happy, and that made me realize like, okay, fashion is for me. And I'll talk about the moments. Like the first one was thrifting. I have always thrifted since I was young. Like me and my mom would go thrifting together, and we still go thrifting together. And it was like a bonding moment where she'd be like, oh, there's like nothing to do, let's go thrifting, you know, like it was always that. And then I was like a Tumblr girl. I don't know if you know what Tumblr
I know.
is.
I'm not that old. Yes, I know what Tumblr is. And yeah, it makes sense. But you were also, I mean, a Tumblr girl, this is my opinion, right? Not a Tumblr girl in that you were following what you saw on Tumblr, but that you were like fully engaged in the creative process of it. Like you would do your own thing. You would be the person inspiring others.
Yes.
Is what I saw.
And I didn't notice that until I like accepted that in high school, where it was like I'm getting so many compliments because of my style, or I'm just getting reactions, and even if they were not good, because sometimes you'd make fun of me. Did you face that?
Oh, me? Not me.
I remember.
Okay, hopefully.
No, but it was lightly hearted. You did. I'm sure it wasn't an intention. It was just it was cool to just hear people say something about my outfits. You know, that was great.
You did have some outfits that were kind of out there, though. I'll give you that much. But it made sense. It really made sense for you. Like you pulled it off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, Tumblr was fun because like I think that's where I like really started to dissect imagery and like what that meant. Like what is it to create an image, and like
Dude, you would love our pathway now. Really? Yeah, you would love it now. Keep going. Sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
But Tumblr was and because I grew up with the internet, like taking selfies was a thing. You know, it became everything. Every moment just kind of came together. I'm trying to think what else led me into fashion. I was always like looking at runways and like opening up magazines, making collages. Like it was always in my life. Like in some way or the other, I would always come back to fashion. Mm-hmm. And when I was deciding what to do for the rest of my life, I was like, okay, it's gonna be this. Because I love it so much already, and I spend so much time doing it.
I remember you came in one day after school and spent a good hour talking to me about how you had like reorganized your closet or something like that. And I'm like, I don't know anyone that ever talks that, you know, expressionistically about organizing a closet. Whatever.
My coworkers still give me shit because I was talking to them about how I roll my underwears, and then they were like, "Sorry." They're like, "Why are you doing that?" I just throw them in the drawer, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I have to." It's part of the organization.
Okay, so I was also gonna say it wasn't just fashion. There was it was a particular eye for design. Right. And I even saw it in like your academics, the way you were expressing yourself. There was an organization to it. So I imagine the visuals of your bedroom or whatever. I don't know why I'm imagining that one, but talking about your closet, the pictures that you've sent us for the podcast, right?
Yeah.
They all have a particular like design awareness of design.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's a balance of color, a balance of everything, and I'm just like, this kid gets it.
Do you remember me trying to make my room a studio?
Yeah.
Do you remember that story?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
That was a big moment of my life because I remember it was my first time I had a room, and I really wanted to make my room a studio. I didn't get to because my mom and my dad didn't understand. Like, I didn't want a bed. And they were like, how do you not want a bed? I was like, I don't want a bed. I want to make my room a studio. And it's never stopped. Like, now I have my living room is a studio, but...
Well, there you go.
There's a start, right? I was like, I love having space to create. It's always been that.
Cool. So you were at Lincoln, academics. What GPA did you have when you graduated? Just so that students...
Like 3.8.
3.8?
Yeah.
Which is a solid GPA.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know why students always think they have to have 4.1, 4.2. That's an average for like UCLA. It's an average. 3.8 is solid, especially considering all the other things you were doing.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, academics is one thing, but there's so much more to success. Like, I think being a well-rounded person is necessary, and like having people skills and knowing how to talk, you know, and connecting with one another. And
I'm see you're nodding her head right there. I'm looking at Ms. Harvey because every episode, this is the issue that comes up, is that students need to realize that academics is one part of the experience, and they may have skills in all these other categories that are being ignored.
Yeah,
right?
no, and I think those are the most value ones, to be honest,
Oh,
because academics is like, I mean, knowledge is power, that's how you can defend yourself. But also, like, people get opportunities through connection and
mm,
the way you make others feel.
hmm.
And if you can't admit that with just your presence, then sometimes there's disconnection, you
Yeah.
know?
You could have all the knowledge in the world, but if you can't communicate it to people, right? What good is it going to do you? So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's a huge skill there. That makes sense. So let's get on to post high school. Um, for the listeners, you went to UC Davis,
Yes, I
which is
did.
very different than Lincoln High School. So
Yeah.
explain to me how you made that decision, what it was like, whether or not you felt welcomed and thrived there, or any hesitations you had. What was it like? What was the whole process like?
Well, the first reason why I picked Davis was because I wanted something different, and it definitely was
That is
that.
definitely different. Got you.
And I wanted to be away from my parents. That's another one.
Well, what you're saying it will ring true for a lot of the seniors here. There's a lot of seniors that want just to experience that break, whatever it is. They're
Yes.
scared of it, but they definitely want something. They want to experience something new.
Yeah. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into at first when I arrived. I I struggled. I struggled a lot because of the environment change. Like,
Hmm.
um, it was a very different, quiet life, slow life, and like a very
Well,
um
earlier you were talking about how it always smells like cow shit,
yes.
right? So can you explain UC Davis for us so we can know the audience will know what the difference is like?
So, UC Davis is right next to Sacramento, and it's about from here. It's like about 8 hours away, and it's a town, a true town. There's
Is it
like
a
the
town that's based around the college?
yes,
Okay.
yes, and the closest city is Sacramento, so it's like 20 minutes away from Davis, and
So what if you don't have a car?
oh, you're stuck there.
You're stuck. Yes.
Absolutely.
Is there much to do?
No, farmers market.
Farmers market. Got you.
Sunday morning.
Think we're starting to understand the picture now, right? I'm hoping students will understand the picture now.
Yeah, there's no tall buildings. It's very flat. The school is known for their medicine program, so they have a lot of animals on
Right.
campus.
They're known for like veterinary medicine stuff
Yes,
too, right? Yeah.
yes. So
Farming. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like the number one school for agriculture. So
Yeah.
there's a bunch of cows, and it smells like cow
So how
poop.
did number one school in agriculture, yet you went there for fashion and design?
I know,
How did that
crazy.
work out? How did you? Yeah. What was the program like?
So I went in as a textiles and clothing major,
Okay.
and I discovered when I arrived that it's very different from design. The textiles and clothing major is the science and the business behind clothes. So we're talking about how to make actual fabric to actually how to create, like how to sell it. Completely different.
Okay.
And I took a few classes and I talked to a counselor and I was like, okay, this is cool, but I want to design. Like, want to create it. So then they recommended I majored in design, which I didn't even know they had a design program.
Cool.
I discovered that the first year.
So you got in with something that was related to what the field you wanted to go into.
Hmm.
When it turned out it wasn't exactly what you wanted, you
I
talked to
changed.
professors and stuff, just like
Yeah.
you did here at Lincoln, right?
Yes.
Talked to professors and stuff, ended up changing majors.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
But you have a little bit of a background in textiles and stuff now too, right?
Yeah, because then I minored in textiles and clothing and just did design as a major. And design is true studio classes. So I learned how to sew. I learned how to drape. I took dyeing, like when you dye fabric and create your own patterns. I took a few like graphic design courses. So there was a lot of that. Like there's a lot of it's because it's a research school. Like we did a lot of research,
Okay.
and then I also, since I minored in textiles and clothing, I was taking business classes. I had to take like a statistics class one that I hated so much, but because I'm just so the opposite I was really enjoying my design classes, my true studio
Well, yeah, that's
classes.
the creative
Yeah.
personality versus the more technical, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was cool just to like get that experience of my design
Hmm.
world and how I can actually use it in the real world.
Okay. Before we get to the real world where you're using it, you say we a whole lot. Could you
Oh.
tell me who we are at UC Davis? Who are the students? What is the staff like? What does it look like on campus?
So there wasn't a lot of people that looked like me. I in the classrooms that I was in, specifically in design, there was maybe two other brown people, um, or black people.
Okay.
Like it was only like two of us in a whole room full of mostly Asian and Caucasian. So there was it was
Mostly
very
male, mostly female, which
um
fairly balanced.
more female for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And
What about outside of your specific major, just on campus in general? Same
same
dynamic.
thing. Same thing. Yeah.
So not a lot of color on campus.
No.
Okay.
Not at all. And I was aware of that. Because I was looking at, statistics too when I was going into school and making sure like I knew just getting more information about the school. And I didn't think that was going to be some, not a problem, but like that was going to be a challenge for me.
Was it?
It was, yeah.
It was a challenge
It
for
was
you.
a challenge because I think like in my college experience, I learned to really trust my creativity and trust myself because I realized that there was a lot of people that didn't look like me, but my work always like stood out and there was always like really good critiques that I would get through my projects. So I learned that like even though there was challenges like of me being like one of the few, like I still knew like I could do something with this.
Did you ever feel like you didn't really belong?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I feel like my college experience was very like it was a process of having a lot of identity crisis.
Right. Okay, that's fair. A lot of that is age, right? You're going from high school where you felt very supported,
Yes.
right, to this brand new place. You're off on your own, so a lot of it is just identity building because you're out on your own for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Add on top of that all these other complex dynamics you're talking about, right? But being
Yeah.
the only person of color in a class, right? Those kinds of things.
Yeah. I mean,
Being from inner city when you're now an agricultural, those kinds of things. So explain that to me. What was it like? What did you discover about yourself? What challenges did you face?
so I'm trying to think because
You don't have to
there
give
was
specifics. Like I don't want names or anything like that. That's what happened with the last podcast was we almost started name dropping.
okay.
Yeah. So just in general, what was it like for a Lincoln student considering UC Davis? What kind of things are they going to face when they get there?
Change of environment. That's a big deal. I learned to adapt and eventually get used to it, and then I realized like I love town life.
How did you adapt?
I really wired in my brain that when I was there to focus and get good grades and get through school. And it was the perfect space for that because I didn't have any distractions, and that was important for me.
That's smart.
So
Yeah, that's smart.
those were the three things that I'm like, I love my family and I love what they've done for me, but I have to understand that this is what I need right now to get through this moment of my life. So that's how I accepted that for what it was. And the first year was hard, but then the second year I'm like, I can kind of get used to this. Like, I built community. There was a lot of friends that I met the first year that I like would study with for hours, and we'd go, to the DC and eat there, and then,
The DC?
Dining common.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then, catch like the different activities that the school had that the dorm was hosting. So I like made sure I built a community that was supporting what I needed, like, in that moment.
Sounds like you just repeated what you did here at Lincoln.
Yeah.
You took the same sort
Absolutely.
of skill set, right? Building a community around yourself, and you did it at UC Davis. Which is another thing a lot of the people on the podcast are suggesting, is that you got to get involved, right? You got to reach out and make those connections you were talking about earlier.
Yes.
So that's a solid coping mechanism.
Absolutely. And like each like the school has like different, what is it? They're like collectives, or they're like centers. They're centers, and they there was a Latinx and a Chicanx like center, and like I'd show up once in a while there, and they had like free counseling and stuff like that. That there was a lot of like there was a lot of resources on campus like that you can use for free.
Okay, cool. So despite the campus being predominantly white or Asian, there's a lot of resources built around diversity.
Absolutely.
So did you feel a little bit of like welcoming because of things like that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm going to assume that because you felt that, the imposter part of it was a little more manageable.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Like the school had systems to help you engage in the whole process.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that, I mean, that the first year I would highly suggest living in the dorms. Like it can be pricey, but I feel like that like really did create a foundation for me that allowed me to then continue more confidently. Because if you go in as a transfer, you still have those like resources, but they're not imposed on you. Like they're not kind of pushed on you as when you're living in the dorms.
That makes sense.
And they do more things catered to the new people. Like there's a lot of stuff, you know.
I mean, if nothing else, there's like billboards and stuff all around with the flyers, and you're just constantly in communication with people that are on campus.
And you get like, you know, emails from your like the person that's monitoring like the floor.
Right.
I forgot to mention I was also part of a summer program before I started at UC Davis. And UC Davis has this program called STEP. And STEP it basically gathers the kids that were accepted that qualify, that are low income, and also Black and brown or of color, and they bring them into the dorms 3 weeks before school starts. So that program helped me so much in a sense of also building a community, because then when I started school, I already knew people. I wasn't
Smart.
like, oh, these are like, you know, it was new. Like I already knew the dorms, I already knew people, and the program shared the resources. I took a few classes, like we had seminars.
Cool.
It was really cool. I love that program.
I mean, not only did you become familiar with the school, but you became familiar with some people who were from a similar circumstance as you, a similar life circumstance as you. So you didn't enter this campus being, I'm all alone.
No.
It was like, at least I know that one person, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. That's good. A good tip for some of our seniors here. Take advantage of those programs. Cool. So you graduated?
I graduated 2020.
2020, 4 years of textiles and fashion design.
Yes.
And?
I graduated in the middle of a pandemic. It was a hard moment for everyone, and graduating that year really sucked. But I then...
Did you get to have the ceremony and everything?
They had like an online ceremony, and then they had like a really late summer ceremony that I was already I had left already or something like that. But what is it? I ended up deciding, I was like, okay, I'm here in Davis, but like I want to go into LA and get in the industry and figure out what I'm going to do, you know, for the rest of my life, and what that looks like, and like getting a job and all that. So
what has that looked like? Yeah.
It was challenging at first because, you know, graduating in that time, I'm like, are people even looking, you know, for like people looking for jobs?
I got you. Yeah.
There was a lot of unemployed people. There's a lot of people that got unemployed, and so there was a lot of challenges in that sense. But then I moved to LA after Davis, and
didn't you also spend some time in New York, or did you go to New York for like a fashion week kind of a thing?
Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about that. Oh my God.
Was that part of
Dear,
your...
that was such a cool experience, and that was through Davis.
That was through Davis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let me talk about this.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back.
There's so much cool
I
stuff.
thought that was like right after Davis, you went and did your but cool. It's part of the program.
No,
Explain
yeah.
that.
So I was working at the dorms like a summer, and there was like a post that came on Instagram that was for Vogue. It was called Forces of Fashion, and it was a conference.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, like, I wonder if I email them if I can get tickets. It's very bold of me, quite.
But it worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
Keep in mind, I was like, I don't even know if this is going to happen, but who cares? Let me just try. Like, it doesn't hurt to try, right? It's like the worst thing I can get is a no. So I ended up emailing them, and I asked them if they had any tickets for students. And they were like, oh yeah, like we're actually giving discounts right now. The ticket is $1,000 and you can get it for $50. $50.
Wow, they must think students are broke. Wow,
and I was like,
that's a huge discount. Okay, cool.
I was like, New York?
I could do New York for $50.
$50 like conference ticket to a Vogue like, event that there's gonna be like high-end designers, and like I'm gonna get the experience of, like.
Did you get the experience?
So yeah, I was like, okay, it was crazy because like I really wanted to go to New York, and I manifested it through this whole. Yes, I did because I never thought I was gonna get the ticket, but whatever. So I ended up getting the ticket. I was like, I don't even know how I'm gonna make it to New York because I've never been, but like I'm still gonna try, and I don't have money,
right.
But that doesn't matter because the sky's the limit. So then I ended up like doing a bunch of research through the school, and the school gives like grants to students that want to do conferences. So I got it paid for by the school. And I was
hey, for listeners, that is not an academic skill.
It's not.
Right? That's one of those social skills we're talking about being beneficial in the world. Yes. Keep going.
I was like, yeah, so I emailed and I got the grant. I ended up going to New York for like 4 days. I'd never been. And it was so cool. I got to see like Kim Jones. He was a designer for Dior at that time. And like, I got to see a bunch of other cool people and just like hearing their experience and like their creative, lives.
Right.
And then it was such a cool experience. Like I honestly, that's why I'm telling you the sky's the limit, because I think it's like when you know how to throw yourself out there and take the risk, you just never know what can happen. And keep in mind, like I still don't have papers. So
right, that's what I'm saying. You still don't have papers, but you do have a something that's really important is you do have the confidence, right? You got the belief in yourself, which is solid.
Yeah.
You can get a long way with that kind of mentality. I want to do it, so I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to manifest it. That kind of a thing. So got to New York, got to experience the industry. And would you recommend any college student taking advantage of programs like that, like experiential type programs?
Absolutely. Also, like if there's something you really, really want to do or be a part of, like there's always something going on in the industry. Like always reach out to people and do your little research. You have to do your research and see the people that already are involved and how you can
remember you're in college, but you're not just limited to that little space, right? There's learning happening everywhere,
and there's money out there. You just gotta look for it.
There you go. And there's money. I mean, that's good advice. You don't have to put it on credit cards. You don't have to take out loans. You can find money at places. So, okay.
Wait, sorry,
go ahead.
I want to say that then the next year I went again, but I took 3 or 4 other friends of mine that were going to that school. So that was really beautiful because then I got to experience it with my friends. So, yeah.
I'm seeing some cycles here. Like you were at Lincoln, you were into fashion, you went to FITM, you started the fashion club, you inspired a few students even after you graduated to continue the fashion club and to continue to go into the field. Now you're doing the same thing at college. What about career?
Yeah, so then
I'm going back. This is my segue all the way back to LA. From New York the second time to LA. Now you're living in LA, working in LA. Explain that to me. What are you doing in the industry?
I am working I started with denim, so I got into a small local business, like a yeah. My first job was at a denim company, and I learned a little bit.
Like,
They make pants, so and denim jackets and vests and skirts
and they
yeah.
sell those skirts and jackets and pants to whom?
So the company was called Just USA, and they're one of their big. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be saying this.
Okay, then don't say
Actually,
it.
I'm thinking. Let me not.
Yeah, then don't say
let me
it.
not
Don't
even
say
go
it.
to this.
But it's a company that sells to other big
So other bigger
brands.
Brands, correct? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Levi's I'm wearing right now comes from another factory that Levi's
Correct.
puts their labels and stuff on. Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, it just depends. There's different ways of
Right.
doing business. Though this company had their own label, and then
Gotcha.
also did a private label for other companies.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand how the whole industry works because, I mean, I know nothing about it.
Yeah. So there's people specialize in different things, and that one was just denim.
And you started denim.
I started denim.
And I saw some posts online where you were even doing your own little fashion with some denim stuff, right?
Yes.
You did like a line or maybe
Yes.
even just one outfit or something like that.
Yeah. So that was the first introduction to the industry. It was very cutthroat. I hated it. Very.
Thank you for being honest.
Yeah, the first job was very, very ugly. I will say that.
Okay.
And I think what it was is I decided, because they didn't even want to hire me, and I was like, I can do the job. Hire me. I literally said it just like that. I showed them my portfolio, and they were like, you don't have any experience. I was like, I know, but I can do the job, so hire me. And then I ended up just leaving because it was so bad, and they were like begging me to come back, and I was like, I'm not coming back. It was very
Well, you used the word cutthroat. Explain that to me. What is it like?
They didn't even let us talk. Dear, it was
like just factory sewing, like the horror stories you think of.
Keep in mind, like, we had a sewing room, which there was sewers there. So the fashion industry has a lot of different teams. I was just design.
Okay.
So design, sketches the garment and then runs it through different teams.
Okay.
And
I'm not trying to get like insider information.
No,
I just want to understand how
fine.
the process
No,
works.
absolutely. And I'm okay with, being honest. So it was very, very cutthroat. Like, they didn't even let us talk. It wasn't like you can't talk, but they'd like be like, okay, like, I don't know how to even explain it.
Like produce more, just like more.
Yeah, or
Were
like,
you
for
always on a
example,
time
a
crunch?
friend would come and try to talk to me, and then they'd get an email like they have to go back and like work. So it wasn't like very friendly. Like, there was not really an environment where people can easily talk to each other and like.
Okay, so I'm getting at understand. This is more, I think, of a personal conflict for you because you're a creative social learner.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And so in a full business environment where it's like produce, that's not how you work.
No.
So
And that was hard.
That was hard for you.
That was very difficult.
Well, I mean, it's good that you learned that that's not the kind of place you can be successful in.
And then I learned that I wasn't even doing design, by the way. I was doing production. This is crazy because you just learn along the way,
Okay.
Production's completely different than design. Design, again, is more heavy on the development, and production is just running it through
Someone else comes up with the design, you produce whatever
they
need,
produce
then
it in multiple quantity,
Yeah,
and there's a different team for that. So I ended up leaving, but I was recommended, like, one of my coworkers also left, and then I was recommended to her company. So then I moved over to a different company.
Okay.
Because of her.
Doing the same stuff?
Doing the same thing, but then I moved into wovens. And wovens are dresses,
Okay.
Skirts, that is just a different material. So then I was there for a good amount of time, 2-3 years, also very difficult. The companies, I feel like, are very, people can be mean. That's what it is. People are just mean. And they feel like they can, bring people down and not treat them like people. So there is a side of the industry that is very sad. It is very sad. But I was there for a few years, and then I was like, okay, I'm getting up and going. I had enough because I got a lot of experience, but I couldn't handle their environment no more.
The entire time you're working for these companies, are you still doing your own personal design stuff on the side?
I started dipping my toes into that a little bit because I have always wanted to do it. So I was like, okay, let me just like, if I have an idea, let me just do it. So I was kind of slowly pushing out my own stuff, but it was very, I mean, I didn't really have a lot of experience. You know, I
Right.
was just coming out of school and I didn't even really know. And I was learning as I was going through the different jobs and stuff. So I was still moving, but I wasn't doing as much as I am now.
Okay.
And that was my second job. I'm into my third job now. I'm through a different connection. So keep in mind, these are all connections that I have built from different jobs that I've just been able to jump. And this company is amazing that I'm with now. They're really cool people, and like I love my environment, and we work hard. Absolutely. I will say the job is demanding. Fashion is demanding because people want the newest, the fastest.
The fastest, yeah.
So I
And
will
and I mean, the part that would be hard for me is you're constantly being criticized, right? Like people
Yeah.
always have an idea about what you're creating,
True.
and
Yeah.
you have to be able to manage that
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to defend your idea
constantly.
all the time. But when you have people that are nice
Mm.
and that want to hear your ideas,
It's not judgment.
no.
It's not
And
judgment
and
at
you're
that
not
point,
taking
yeah.
it personal. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, it's business, you know? And if they don't like it, that's okay. But
Yeah.
I at least you and that's what taught me too, that I needed a good work environment to thrive, because I feel so comfortable around the people I'm with now, and they're great mentors. And also just like, again, open to listening, and that's what I appreciate now. So I continued to develop myself as a creative. I started at this company, the one I am with now, as a trend assistant, which was cool because that gave me a different like perspective into the industry, which
Okay.
is very like research heavy. And we build decks, and we talk about colors, and we talk about prints. And I'm like, oh, I love all those three things. So I was like, that's really cool. But then I was like, no, I need to go back to designing because I like more designing. Designing is just like production. It's product development, and like, you know, how can you make a really beautiful product or a garment in the best fabric, or whatever, you know, whatever it is. So that's what I realized, that I love more the design world rather than the trend world.
And so, how did you get to the point where you're now, based on your online persona, right?
Yes.
Your design persona, whatever,
Yes.
right? You seem to be producing a lot in the last year or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did you get to that? What is that? What's going on there? Are you doing shows? Are you?
Yeah.
What?
So as I develop myself professionally, I also have always wanted to do it for myself, because I know I have a strong identity, and I have built that through the years. So I have about 2-3 years in doing my own projects on the side. And these projects are...
How would a student be able to see some of these projects right now?
So I have a brand, and it's called Suhei. And this brand I call it wearable art, to be honest, because I don't want my stuff to be seen as just clothes. Like, I spend a lot of time creating and adding a lot of intention behind it.
Well,
So,
there's a lot of like cultural flair and
absolutely.
attitude and stuff that I notice in the fashion.
Yes, and
Right.
my brand really does specialize in bringing in like my identity, my Mexican identity, the color, the
Color, the
color,
fabrics, all that kind of stuff.
you know, I think my color choices are very specific, and then
Bold,
also,
bright, fun, loud,
yeah,
right?
and then adding that art element, which is like unconventional art. Like what's unconventional fashion? Like, what can you make be fashion? Like, it can be anything, you know.
Yeah,
if
that's
you want
that's
it
the
to
part
be.
I don't know. I don't get. That's beyond my scope, my
I
vision.
just posted this like loteria dress that I made. You know, loteria
Uh-huh.
card game. I made a dress out of that, and that was so fun.
So where does an idea like that come from? That's crazy to me.
I know. Well, the
Were you
thing
just
is,
looking at some cards and be like, I wonder what this like if you could wear it? How did that? Or are you
That's
going
funny.
the opposite? Like, how can I fully represent a culture through fashion? And it's like, this is an essential tradition. right?
That's what it is. I think
Oh,
sitting with yourself, and well, at least for me, that's how I do it. I sit with myself and I'm like, well, what are we already using? What does it mean to us? Like, what are our stories, and like how can we share them through our garments and through my creations? Like, that's important to me. And like, my slogan is called a love letter to Mexico del otro lado, and I dedicate all my garments to my motherland, you know.
you just reminded me of like back in the day when you would come into my class after school and be like, dear, what is life? Like, what's the meaning to life? It's like that questioning of identity and personal, it's still there. Like,
Yeah.
you're still questioning things, and you're producing art to try to find an answer, to try to answer it. Does that make sense? This is crazy for me. Like, this is real adult shit.
I'm like,
It's-
no quiero llorar.
No. It's crazy for me to see it happen because, yeah.
Well, I think what it is, it's like in college when I had a lot of identity crisis, like I realized that there's a lot of emotion when it comes to not going back home or back to Mexico, I guess. So I realized that that was a big moment of my life, you know? Oh, sorry, guys. And I think, like, as a creative, like, I want to share that part of me. Like, I want to share, like, that emotion that I carry for wanting to go back, and, like, how I can experience it through my art, you know?
As a teacher, it's one of the coolest things I get to do is, I mean, I bag on social media all the time, but on social media, to see students like take their first road trip and go experience the world, or a student create art and develop their own identity and their own style of art, right? To see people just kind of grow up and become themselves, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And owning who you are. I think that's so important because thank you. I'm not just like one thing. Like, I'm like, what really makes me special or unique? And I think that's what it is, where it's like I carry those deep roots, but I also have my American influences that I can't deny because I've been here since I was 5. But I want to connect them in a beautiful way. And
that's why you were out there protesting ICE stuff, right?
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, my identity feels political. Like, I shouldn't be here right now.
Interesting.
And I think it's only right to...
Is that imposter syndrome in and of itself?
Absolutely. But
I shouldn't be here right now. Sounds exactly like what we're talking about. When I think you've already proven through your experience you do belong here, right? Yeah.
And I think I continue to prove that. And I now it's just like continuing to be louder about it and letting others know, like, we're here for a reason. And like I have so many different, I think, dualities of myself, like, and I think to resistance, where there's part of me that has been resisting this whole time, like through art, through education.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be here. And look at you. Here. Word. Deep breath. Before I don't want this to get any heavier, because then I might need a tissue myself. So is there any advice you could give Lincoln students who might be feeling as though they don't belong here either? They don't belong in higher education. They don't belong in the industry. What would you suggest they do?
I would suggest, I want to say that you have everything you need to make it out the hood. You have everything you need, or not even to make it out the hood, because I don't even think it's that. I think it's to support your people and support your community and shine your bright. Like your bright light. I think that's what it is. Where it's like, I don't want to make it out of here. I just want to come back and like
Celebrate it.
and celebrate it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And say, like, yeah, maybe I come from an unprivileged background, but here I am making it in whatever way it is that I want to make it, you know, and thrive in it, and say, like, I'm trying, and I'm still, and me trying is enough, because that's what I thought.
Well, you're
when,
going
in
beyond
moments.
trying. You're doing.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
actually pulling it off. You're doing it, right?
Yeah.
And when you say like the stuff's available to you, it's not just like the resources on campus are available to help you get what you want, but you also have it within you. But society has been telling you you don't for so long, right? You have what's necessary.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I like that message.
And just to think, like, my parents, you know, didn't go to school, and I had to figure out academically how to get into spaces that, you know, they couldn't help me in. But all of the skills that they've given me and that I've seen through them has allowed me to become who I am now. Hardworking. Oh. I'm like,
Wow.
I haven't really talked about this, but yeah, I think, like, really reflecting on everything, I think that's what it is, you know?
There's a lot of it, yeah.
Where it's like all my skills that are the strongest ones are because of them, both of them.
Well, give yourself some credit too. You work really hard at it. Cool.
Yes. I'm
All
like,
right.
I can't talk no more.
All right. Well, thank you for coming today. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, dear.